be why you don't sound like it's from Bolton. I'm going up to Yorkshire tomorrow, but I don't know where.
Yeah, Yorkshire's beautiful.
I'm being surprised. My mate's from Doncaster, and he's taken me up there, and we'll get to it in this podcast, but he's introduced me to wild camping.
Yeah.
And that was only this year.
Oh, really?
Literally about April time.
You've caught the bug.
Fucking have I. It's amazing, isn't it? Which is why you're here today, because I want to pick your brains and find out how it all started for you. So welcome to Chew the Chat podcast.
It's great to be
UK
here.
Carrie Outdoors. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
So how did it all get started for you?
Well, I've always been into being outdoors, camping. Used to take my little girl camping quite a lot. And then about 3-4 years ago, after I'd had my little girl, and I started thinking I want something for me to do outside of the home with other people in nature and the wild, because I'm always by myself doing it. So I joined some wild camping groups on Facebook, got chatting to people. There was like groups you can go and meet up people and do wild camping and stuff. And then that's how I met Ben. Ben was already on YouTube. He did wild camping, and it kind of went from there.
Ben's in the studio. How you doing, Ben?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Good man. And your channel is Bushcraft Basics with Ben?
That's right, yeah.
And
Aidan, that fridge is on. Can you just switch that fridge off, Aidan? Sorry. So you guys, you met through camping then?
Yeah, well, Ben's got another channel, 401 Files.
All right.
Yeah, so you were already running that, weren't you?
Yeah.
And yeah, got chatting through that.
The right-hand side. Sorry, Carrie. That's it. That fridge gets noisy out of nowhere for some reason. So when you said you were camping with your daughter then before, is that kind of just normal camping? Were you going camping to camping sites and kind of in a bigger tent and all that stuff?
In a bigger tent on campsites in the Lake District.
Right.
She was only a baby then. She went on her first wild camp when she was 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, into the woods, and that's how we do camping now.
Yeah, I was similar. I mean, my kids are, my stepdaughter's 20, Aidan's partner, but my kids are 6 and 5 and 3. And when my first one was born, I had definitely, I mean, my family didn't camp. We weren't campers. We didn't do a lot, actually. It was kind of like look after yourself. But
yeah,
when my little boy was born, I knew I had to get outside.
Yeah.
And we started going what I call kind of domestic camping, find a nice campsite, pitch up and take the fucking whole house with you.
Yeah.
I'd have everything with me. And then, this year, a friend of mine came on this podcast and we just chatting, and I was talking to him about flotation therapy.
Oh, Ben does that.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah.
Ben will be sat in that chair then at some point in the future. So I was telling him all about floating and how I like to disconnect from the madness and the noise and just float off into myself and just have this strange experience of just revitalising. And he's a Yorkshire lad, and he went, "Oh, it sounds nice." He said, "I just go off to the woods on my own, couple of days." And I was like, "What? On your own?"
Yeah.
He said, "Yeah."
I used to always get called maybe a bit of a recluse and a loner because I like to be with the dog out in the woods by myself for the day, walking. And then I realised that other people like the same thing. So, get connecting with the people who enjoy it and go with them.
Oh, man. I mean,
there's nothing better than...
It's so rewarding. I think now more than ever, it just feels like...
In these crazy times, you need to step away and just be...
Your latest video I just watched, me breakfast in the woods, and you saying yourself that you've had a mad couple of weeks.
Well, between us, we've got 4 children, so life is busy.
How old are they, Carrie?
The youngest is 2. That's Ben's little boy, and then my daughter's 5, and then Ben's got a 6 and a 13-year-old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So when the house is busy, and we do like to take them out in the woods and do things, but life gets really busy, and then we've got all this virus stuff going on. It is nice just for us to escape and do our own thing. And it's like a therapy. We call it forest therapy. You go to the forest and you come back and you feel better.
Yeah, definitely.
You can deal with everything else that's going on.
And do the kids go with you as well sometimes?
Yeah, the kids come to the woods with us. Sophie, because she lives with us full time, she's my little girl. she's 5. She comes wild camping was all the time. In
And
fact, she asked the other day, when are we going camping again?
Oh, that's ace.
Yeah, she loves to come.
That's ace. And the famous Tallulah.
Yeah, Tallulah.
Your dog, who looks like the most cosy, comfortable dog on earth when she's in your tent. We are
so blessed with that dog. I rescued her from Cyprus.
Right.
So I lived over in Cyprus. I rescued her as a stray.
So what were you doing in Cyprus? We just took a left turn. We're in Europe.
Yeah, I've moved around quite a lot because before I met Ben, I used to be married. I was married for 13 years to a guy in the army. We travelled.
Wow, you don't look old enough to have been married for 13 years.
I'm 34 this year.
Wow.
Yeah. And so when I was over there, I used to work in a dog rescue centre, and I brought Tallulah back, and she's my best friend. She goes everywhere with me. She loves camping. She loves being in the tent. And she loves getting like nice and cosy and snuggled up to you. Yeah.
Well, I think it was you two guys in the Lake District in your last, not the last video, the one before. I think.
Yeah.
A couple of days you were up there.
Yeah.
And there's a funny bit where you go back to the car, I think, and Ben goes one way, and you're like, no, I'm going to follow Tallulah because she went missing. Yeah. Is that when she went missing?
Because unless we're together. One goes one way, that one goes out. She can't cope, so she likes to be in the middle, and she loses sight of you. She goes missing. She likes us to round us all up.
So she can't choose.
She's a bit like a sheepdog. She likes to have her all rounded together.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's great. She's a great camping dog. She loves to go out.
I think the first time I found your videos, I mean, I obviously probably did what everybody does. After that time when Dave took me out, after I'd gone, what, on your own, in the woods? He says, yeah, I'll take you with me one time if you're up for it. I said, fucking let me know. And then after that, I got back from that first trip, and I was just obviously on YouTube, just like shit, and I buying the wrong gear, and his sleeping bag's too big. Like he said, "What you got in your bag?" That's like he says, "Yeah, we'll leave that. But,
yeah.
But when I got back, I obviously started looking at a lot of videos and just finding a couple that I really like. One of which was you, another one, Hayes Outdoors, who's from up your way.
He's from near Whitby area.
Yeah. He's agreed to come on here. It's actually so Hazy, and he'll be watching this, I'm sure. We're in here drinking and talking camping soon. But I think I caught your first camp on your own.
Yeah.
And you're in the woods.
Yeah.
And it seemed like it went really well.
It did go really well, and I'd been out quite a lot with Ben previously, done a lot of wild camping, so I was quite comfortable. Obviously, if you don't have butterflies and you're not scared, you're doing something wrong, because you should always be on your guard. But no, I really enjoyed it. It was a great experience, and I'll probably do another one again soon. So
have you done the hills? Do you camp up on the hills as well, or are you always in the woods?
Mainly in the woods. Yeah. Because I struggle to walk too far of distance. I've got like problems in my joints and stuff, but I still like to go out. And a lot of people do say to me, you need to get up the mountains and up the fells and not in the woods. And I think, well, I like to be out. That's where I like to be. And I physically can't get up a mountain anymore. So.
Right.
But I love being in a forest. There's something more about it that I prefer.
Yeah.
I love being amongst the trees. So
it's wonderful. I went out at the weekend. We've got a little wood, real local. I mean, it's 5 minutes in a vehicle from here. And it's the place where I've been taking my kids a lot over the summer, because they love it as well. And being in the woods, I mean, Dave's taking me up a hill. I'm going out tomorrow. We're going to be up somewhere in Yorkshire, and he said you can see the Blackpool Tower. I don't know if he's winding me up. I just follow him. I just follow him wherever he goes, and it turns out all right so far, touch wood. But I like both. I mean, in the woods, it's always a bit warmer.
Yeah. There
was an owl at the weekend. There was this owl just all night, just lovely. It was just knowing that they're with you.
Yeah,
and hearing
I always
the deers.
think that as well. Like, you've got to remember you're in their territory, and that's where they live. So if you were there or not, they'd still be going about their daily life. And there's something about thinking everyone else, well, not everyone, but a lot of people now at home doing the same routine. And I'm in this woods by myself, or with Ben or Sophie, and we've got a little fire going. There's no one knows we're here. And it's just so like therapeutic. It's like, everyone's at home watching.
You're alive.
Yeah.
You're really alive,
Instead
aren't you?
of being at home watching the same stuff on telly, doing the same routine, it just breaks up that time away. And then when you go away for a few days, you look forward to coming home. So then you're grateful for what you have at home.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Yeah, but then you get to the point where you're ready to go out again. Yeah. That's how I get to the point where I need to go out.
Well, me and my wife, when the first one was born and we had this calling to go out, we kind of went to be fair to us, we didn't end up in just like a car park of caravans and tents. We were going to like more boutique-y kind of 12 pitch spots and stuff like that, and finding our own little corner. And what we learned was, especially when we had number 2 and number 3, is that when we were in those campings, like the stress, like getting the kids in the car and who's ran off and careful, there's a stream, and like the rain and like getting everything packed down because we had so much stuff back then. But we would get home and it'd be like, really appreciate my house.
And the memories that your children will have made then.
And all that stress is exactly that. It's like, you just watch them, they just bounce off into the campsite with other kids and they're having the time of their life.
And they need that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a big believer, like, Sophie doesn't have like an iPad or anything like that. Mm-hmm. I want her to experience a love for the outdoors, because I think as she grows older, that's free, it's everywhere. So if she only needs to go for a walk in the woods to feel like her mental health is in a good place and she feels like it's calmed her down for the day, you can do that anywhere. I don't want her to rely on so many materialistic things that she's lost her way, because we're not materialistic anyway as a whole. But for her to get a love for nature and animals and the outdoors and to teach her those things, I think a lot of kids have lost that. They're very disconnected from the simple life that we have. Yeah. Like, take them to the woods and they'll build a little fire, and like we build little bug hotels and stuff when we're out, teaching her about animals and the sounds and stuff that she'll hear. I think that's really important.
Listen, you are singing from the hymn sheet that I praise. I'm always preaching that stuff on here, because I think it's easy to get lost in the two things. It's exciting, screens and everything now, and press a button and flick it and shit, like stuff's happening, and it seduces you, and
we're all guilty of it.
Of course.
Yeah, because I obviously I'm on YouTube, so I'm on social media, and I can get lost in YouTube all night and Instagram. But I like to step away from it as well, because if you don't, you get lost in a world that's not real.
And when you're teaching your daughter, and at that age, and Aidan and I often talk about this, at that age, it's so important that they download their environment. They understand those manual skills of just, like my kids when we're out as well, same thing. They now know what kind of wood to collect if we're going to build a fire, and which size bits of wood to put on first, and that kind of understanding translates across your whole life.
We got her up on our last camp at 4 a.m. to come watch the sunrise.
Oh,
Not many kids get that experience, I was like, come on, wake up, let's go watch the sunrise. And she absolutely loved it. I got some beautiful photos of her doing that. And I think that's a memory that I hope she'll carry with her forever. And
it'd be more than a memory, because it triggers something, because it's in us, isn't it? It's intrinsic. Yeah. That's why it feels so good. Like you said, therapeutic, being out there.
It's therapy. It is, we call it our therapy. It's somewhere you can go to and really just like everything else stops. It's just, I love it. It's we're going out tomorrow.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Where are you going to be then?
We're not sure where we're going yet. There is a woods that we use quite a lot, but we had a bit of a spooky experience.
I want to get to that. I'm going to ask you about that. I don't know how much you want to divulge, but I'm intrigued.
We're going back there tomorrow, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I want to, while we're here, and you're talking about the mindset and the kind of philosophy of being mindful of your children and protecting them from the speed of modern life.
Yeah.
What led you to that kind of philosophy? Were you brought up with that kind of in mind? Or I noticed you read like Marcus Aurelius, and you've got an eye on philosophy and things, which I'm intrigued by.
I wasn't. I had a normal upbringing. So it's not that I was brought up with the outdoors and stuff. We did go to the Lake District and do things like that. But I think it was as I was coming out of my marriage and I was finding myself. I got married very young, so I got stuck in this routine of life. It was a military life, so it was very routine. As you get older, you start to find yourself, and you go through things in your life that change you, and you have to find ways to cope with those big changes in your life. And I think I read a lot of philosophy, and that helps you cope with my mindfulness and being grateful for what I do have. And then moving forward into the wild camping and going out there, that was my way of finding out who I was. Because until you're sat alone by yourself in the woods, you don't know nothing about yourself, because you're distracted by everything else that's going on. Yeah. You have to be sometimes on your own, with your own mind.
And face fear. Yeah. Face truth. That's kind of what I was saying to my friend Dave about the floating. For me, that was what I was starting to get from floating, was like this real sheer kind of, this is me. Yeah. There isn't even any physical, like I'm evaporated into the black. And all you are left with is the true core who you are. And I've said to Dave, when he took me up the first hill we went up, when we went to the Peak District, And he took me up like a 3-4 hour trek, and we got up to the top. And at one point, I've told this story on the podcast before, he forgot his water pouch. I think we'd filled up at the last kind of high point for water, and he'd left his filter or something.
Yeah.
And we'd gone like about 40 minutes past it. And he went, "Oh, I've left it." He says, "Yeah, I'll hold my bag." And he goes and gets it. And as he's gone, I kind of sat down, and I was having those kinds of feelings. I was like thinking about, as I was on my own, sat up there, even though he's with me and he's just nipped off, I was kind of thinking that it was reminding me of the float, like how powerful. And I think because I was in nature and everywhere I looked, it was just endless and beautiful and epic.
And you kind of realise, I do, how like small you are compared to the rest of the world. Like, you're not insignificant, but you're just one person in this big world. And when you're on your own in nature, you do kind of feel like really, I don't know, it's like, it's like an out-of-body experience. Sometimes we'll say we'll go a place and they're absolutely beautiful, and until you leave and you sit back and reflect on it, you think, wow, we're so lucky that we experienced that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you go to these beautiful places, and to me, it is really good for your mind.
No, I totally agree. And during this lockdown for my family, we've been, I'm so lucky my wife really has fallen in love with it. In fact, our date nights have become...
Love that.
Wild camping.
I love that.
She chooses a bottle of wine, we get some nice food, and we go off, and it's the most, and as you said, busy with kids. It's just lovely. We went to a place in the peaks, a waterfall, and we got in the water. She got in the water. She was in the cold water and everything, and it was just blissful.
Oh, I love that. That's what we do. We don't go on date nights. We go camping.
Yeah.
But that's when we spend our time together.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is.
And it's just us two. And you can really like connect and talk and, you know, be in that moment together. Like, I love that. It's great.
So when did you decide to go to YouTube? Were you a YouTuber before?
No.
Because your channel's only about a year old, isn't it?
A year old, exactly, yeah.
And you hit the ground running, didn't you?
I've got Ben to thank a lot for that.
Right.
I always wanted, when I used to go a place, I used to think, I'd love to share this with someone else. Like, it used to be sometimes quite lonely. Like, I'd go a place and think, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah, because it's so impactful for you, but you can't kind of say, oh.
I went to see some seals on a beach once, and I did a video about it later on, but at the time I'd gone, I didn't have a channel. And when I got there, there's all these seals, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. But I had no one there to say, look at this. And I always thought I'd love to share this with people. And then when I got to Ben, he was like, well, you could share it. I go out and share my journeys with people. So then I was like, oh, I don't know if I dare do that. But then once you get into it, 1 or 2 videos in, it's like you go out, you film it, you share it with people, and you get chatting to people about these experiences that you've had. And it's kind of like taking people along with you. Yeah. Yeah, so they can experience it as well. Like, I've had a lot of people say to me they can't get out and do these trips themselves for whatever reason. Whether the mental health is too bad, they physically can't leave the house, or they don't live in a location where these things are on their doorstep. And they say they love my videos because they can go along to those places. You're
kind of vicariously there having the experience.
Yeah, I love that. That's what I do it for.
Yeah, and that I like that with YouTube in general. That real, you know, you kind of cut through the bullshit filters of I know there is little adverts, but do you know what I mean? Like censorship and ownership of the time span that you're on, and there's a much more organic kind of connection between you and your viewers. Yeah, I love that.
I love YouTube as well because you find I have a really genuine, lovely group of followers, and they are so kind, and they really do invest in where I go and what I do, and like they'll message me on every video. I get the same faces popping up, so you feel like a little community, and I love that. Yeah, like I know about them and what they're doing in their life, and they know what I'm doing. So yeah, and
it's all kind of wholesome as well because it's based around the camping. It's based around that.
You do get the odd people who do leave negative, hateful stuff.
Yeah.
But
that's the world.
It's minute compared to the really positive stuff you get. And
big shout to UK Carrie followers, powerful YouTube family. No, we're not long on YouTube. We only actually started doing these a video version. I mean, the podcast only came around in February. But we started doing video in the lockdown. I was kind of thinking, Jesus, I could probably do something in this time. And I've always liked the idea of taking it to video. Yeah. And we've just started to grow it now. And people, those kind of faces and the people that support you early on that pop up every week for premieres and stuff. And that's really, really nice.
That's great to have those those people that really do invest in you. It means so much to me. I say it in every video. I might do people's head in, but I always say how grateful I am.
Well, that gratitude, I feel that from you already.
Yeah.
You know, even when you're talking about just being on your own in the wilderness, you know, the gratefulness of just being healthy and able to do it and experience it.
Because I just think life's so short, so you've got to make the most of it while you're here. And if I can get out and experience things and take it to people who can't, then to me, that's job done.
That's a really, really healthy philosophy. I like that, Carrie. So when you did start your YouTube, obviously you got Ben who knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Did you do the whole, right, how do you make a thumbnail? How do you blah, 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 and watch all the videos, hours and hours of...
I was really lucky because Ben had 401 files for a couple of years.
Right.
So, yeah, I felt really lucky that he knew all that and I didn't have to really go and research it all. He could just tell me. So he helped me set up my channel. And now I can do it all. He's there for like advice and he'll say to me, you know, maybe that doesn't work or maybe this would work better. And I respect his opinion because he's been doing it a lot longer than me. Yeah. So it kind of works, but I was really lucky. So
before you did it, because obviously, and this always sounds a bit lame, but there's a lot goes into a YouTube video. So much.
I don't think people realise how much goes into it.
I mean, there's the planning of the trip anyway.
Yeah.
You know, as I've seen on your last video, the battery chargers aren't fucking hell. You know, you have all that stuff.
Oh, we've had all sorts of issues when we've been out. Yeah, a lot goes into it. And you can film so much, but we always say you don't know how that's going to translate into a video. So I can get shots of B-roll that I think that's beautiful. And it's breaking that up into your talking and making sure your talking makes sense. And sometimes it can take me like all day just to say, hi guys, welcome to my... For some reason I can't get out and it's so annoying.
And also, you know, there's a balance to be had, I'd imagine. I mean, where you actually want to be in your experience that you're having anyway. Yeah. And then documenting it and not having the documenting taking over the experience.
The experience, yeah. It is difficult. And there's also what I find is I don't want to just document everything and just have me talking about everything. I want people to enjoy watching it. Some things will happen that I find really interesting, but you don't want 25 minutes of what I find interesting. I want other people to enjoy it as well. Yeah. So I have to make sure I edit it so it's not just droning on and on for ages.
This is amazing. Look at all this is.
Yeah, and saying how I feel about everything. So it's making it interesting, and people do say, you know, they like my music choices and like how it's edited. But a lot goes into it. It can take me.
Well, that's where I'm going. So what did you know about anything to do with editing or shooting or any of that creative, like art, thumbnails and...
Nothing.
Did you do art at school? Have you ever been...
No.
So how have you found that? Is it something that you've kind of been pulling your hair out at first but kind of enjoy it and then you get a little breakthrough and you think, fucking hell, that edit works?
Well, it helped because before that I edit the photographs that Ben takes for weddings. So that was his job. And so I started using the editing software for that. So I was editing pictures and stuff. So I'd kind of had a bit of understanding of it, but it's everything that he's taught me. Moving on to videos, I kind of thought, oh, it'd be just as easy. It's not, and it's a lot harder. It took a lot of sitting down and figuring it out. But once I took to it, I kind of think I've got it now.
Yeah, you're doing a great job, and I guess you enjoy it as well.
I love it. I love the editing process. I love putting it together. I love seeing that. Even though I've experienced that trip and I've taken all that footage, I never know what it's going to look like, and I love seeing the finished product, thinking, oh, I managed to get enough in there. Or sometimes I'll come home and think, there's not enough to put a video together there.
Right, got you.
Yeah.
So things like technical stuff, so you start realising that, how big's the file? Stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's not so much, we have problems with like the batteries, because I do film a lot on my phone. I just find it easier because I'm in the moment with my phone. And obviously we have the same cameras that you've got here, and I'm not very good with the cameras. I have to get Ben to set.
Well, you know your phone inside out. You know where everything sits, don't you? You know all the settings. That's
and
really
it's more comfortable, I find, holding my phone to chat to.
Yeah, as opposed to
because it's something I have in my hand a lot. But yeah, it does take a lot. Filming a video is a lot harder than I think people realise. And
what about software and stuff then? So what kind of software are you using as your kind of... Have you been through different softwares that you find a bit more techie than other ones and other ones are more simple?
We just edit on Filmora.
Right.
Which is what Ben's always used, and I've taken to it really well.
Yeah.
So
that works good for you.
Yeah, it's really good.
So how long? Your videos can vary from 10 minutes to 40 minutes. Yeah. So how long will it take you? Do you look forward to editing?
Yeah.
I saw you did a post recently, and you were chilling. I think you were having a bit of ice cream or something, and you were like, "I'm going to edit tonight."
Yeah.
So, do you look forward to it then?
Yeah. I really look forward to it.
And would you get a video done in a night? Is that like a 3, 4, 5 hour stint, or?
It can take a couple of days.
Yeah.
Depending on how much footage there is to look through. Because I do want it to be the best product I can put out there. And I am my own worst critic. So I will get, like the last video I put out, the editing software let us down, and there was a little bit of buzzing over the drone footage. And like I was really upset. Like when it went live, I was like, oh, I need to take it down. But I couldn't take it down. And then I realised there's nothing I can do. It's on the editing software.
I didn't pick up on that. I just thought, oh, fucking hell, she's got a drone. That looks great. That's what I thought.
I did really take that. Like, I was really upset about that because I want my videos to come across like I'd put a lot of work into them.
Yeah, of course.
Because I want people to enjoy watching them. They invest their time, and I want it to be right for them.
Well, they are, because you've only been on a year, and you're heading towards, I think you're basically 5,000 subscribers, aren't you?
Yeah.
Your videos are regularly in sort of tens of thousands of views, aren't they?
Yeah, people are. I'm so lucky. I feel so lucky people have taken to my channel, and I have a great group of people, as I always say, that follow me. And
do you feel any pressure from it? Or do you feel yourself thinking, I want more followers? Or I'd like, or are you just kind of you're in that gratitude sort of zone of just like, wow, this is just wonderful?
Always so grateful. And I always said, I didn't think I'd even get to 1,000 in a year. So I'm so grateful for where I am. And anything that comes off it is a bonus, because I've met a great group of people. I have people who I haven't met, but I class as friends. We chat all the time. They're real supportive of my channel. They have channels of their own. So I'm just so grateful. I'm absolutely loving like just the journey of doing it.
Have you, and other than Ben, have you done any collaborations yet then with other campers or stuff like that, and kind of crossed over?
Not yet.
Is that something you think you might do?
Yeah, it's been difficult this year because of obviously lockdown and meeting people. But we were actually just chatting on the car journey up here and saying that is something I need to reach out and get chatting to people about doing that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, we're kind of doing it today, aren't we? Because
it's the first time I've ever met anyone off my channel.
Oh, there you go. I'll take that one. There's an exclusive. Nice one, Carrie. So YouTube is a community for you then that you seem to be treating with a really healthy attitude. You know, you've been really lucky with your partner in Ben, who's got the tools of the trade, and he's got his photography and he's got that creative mindset. Yeah. You've enjoyed doing it. All these things are kind of aligning, and your channel is popping, and I really enjoy it, and my wife loves it. And I think you were the first female camper I saw. So were you aware that there was not a lot of that going on as well? Yeah,
that's like a double-edged sword. So I get a lot of people like, wow, it's great there's a female out there doing it. I also get a lot of guys who want to go on there to leave me rude comments.
Right.
And I also get if I put a video up, I'll get jumped on straight away. Oh, you've got a fire. Did you know you should do this? Did you know you should do that? Then I'll watch someone else doing exactly the same with big followings than me. And the same people are commenting, great video, I love your trip, dude.
The same people.
Yeah,
do you know, I read a comment earlier and someone said to you about, you shouldn't have a fire because this and that. And I thought, well, I could see that you dug a pit.
Everything
you'd have left it,
Yeah, I get that a lot. And I just think, like, sometimes I can't do anything. Some people will pick me up. And
do you think that's because you're a lady?
Yeah, some of it is, like, we have said before that, oh, you could do it like this, or maybe you should do it like that. And I think, well, actually, I didn't even build that fire. It was Ben.
Yeah.
I was out with Ben and he was
It's
still his
strange.
thing.
Why?
Yeah, I'm not sure. The strangest comment we've ever had
Here we go.
The voices in the woods. Some guy was so angry he couldn't hear the voices on Ben's footage, which is, this comment is the reason I haven't released my video yet. He was so angry, he said he was ringing the police.
Hang on a minute.
Yeah. I'm ringing the police. You are a fraud. This is fraud. I'm ringing the police.
It's got to be a troll. That's got to be straight up trolling.
He went on his channel, then he came to my channel. If you release that video, I'll never watch your channel again. I'm ringing the police. I was like, dude, chill, man.
Lockdown's fucking people up, isn't it? Oh, dear. People have got far too much time on their hands.
I was like, listen, we were in the woods. We heard someone chatting. Now, it freaked us out. We got the hell out of there. You can't ring the police. Like, they have enough shit going on.
Yeah, so is that what he's saying then? Ring the police?
He was adamant he'd rang the police. Yeah.
What, on your behalf? Or because he was...
because he thought that we were frauding him into...
Oh.
Yeah, he said, I can't hear the voice on the video.
Oh, my God.
I'm ringing the police. Yeah, he was really angry.
And has he been on videos since? Do you know?
Well, I blocked him.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, the good old block button. It's
Have
my
you? I bet you. Yeah, being a lady, I bet you've had to do that a few times with the.
That's the first one I've blocked.
Oh, right, okay.
I have had some like comments that I ignore.
Yeah.
But I think that guy topped it.
And what about, how do you take, like, I mean, I did a podcast, one of the podcasts I did recently was the one that kind of broke my channel in a little bit. And it was with a lad I now call a friend, Darren G, who's like is an infamous person from Liverpool. And he was on a couple of big podcasts, James English podcast and Sean Atwood podcast. Yeah. And he came on here and our channel popped, and I think that video is something like it's on its way to 100,000 views.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it's massive.
So there's a lot of comments, and I'm pretty thick-skinned. I mean, I've been in bands since I was 13 years old. I've been putting myself up the front for a pat on the back or, two fingers. Yeah. And I actually went camping as a therapy to this. So he came on a podcast, and I was just so aware that like this was probably going to pop for my channel. And I found myself getting caught in the fucking looking and checking and looking. And I knew that was unhealthy, and I was getting annoyed with myself. And then I think I'd put a couple of short clips out before the actual podcast went out, and straight away they were up to like 5,000. And I was like, whoa, it's happening. Like, this is weird. And then comments, oh wow, this is a nice podcast. This is better than the James English version, or this is better. And I was like, oh wow. And then it was like, who's this fucking podcast host? He looks like he's asleep. And I was like, whoa.
Once you get a bit of hit, that means it's doing well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're
right.
I think to myself, when only 5 people watch my videos, they're all very kind. But on my solo wild camp, when it started to like blow up, I think it's on like 60,000 views or something. That's when the hate started.
Right. Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
let them hit.
I looked at that and I thought, and I'm like yourself, I read enough stuff. Philosophy and God knows what.
I've got a few of them books.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So I'm interested in trying to grow as a human, and I could feel myself kind of getting stuck in that pretty clear pattern of today, which is just fucking being swept along in other people's opinions. So I kind of made a point to myself, right, fuck it. I'm going to make sure everything's uploaded, Premiere's there. I'm not even looking at this. And me and my wife went to the peaks, to that waterfall, and we had a lovely kind of 36 hours of just hiking, camping.
Yeah, and that's a perfect way to get away from
it. Didn't look at it. And then when I finally did get back and kind of like popped it open, I was like, oh shit, 33,000 views. And then I just sort of glazed over, because I like to comment back. Yeah. Because like you, I feel overwhelmed that people are taking the time.
And make a point, try and come back to every single person who comments to me.
Yeah.
Because it means a lot that they've taken time to do that.
Totally. I mean, we do premieres of this. So this episode will premiere on a Friday night, right? So premiere is obviously, for people who don't know, it's like you set the video, it's recorded now before time, but we will set it up and promote it, and it'll be going out like with all of our episodes the video versions go out at 8 o'clock on a Friday night. And I'm always amazed that there's like 70 people, like there's 100 people that have like, decided, I'm not watching a film or whatever, I'm going to watch this. Because it's one thing just watching a YouTube video, and it's another thing going, it's on at 8 o'clock, I'm going to watch it. And I'm like, fucking, this is mad. I've still
never premiered anything.
Right.
I'm still a bit shy.
Yeah. Well, this is the format for it, you see, because this is like week to week to week. So the audio version of this goes out on a Monday morning.
Yeah.
So the idea when I started the podcast was that, because the audio podcast sponsors are a flotation company and a cryotherapy company. And my podcast is kind of born out of my fascination with childhood and some of the things we've covered already, how you set an environment and a tone for young people to learn and gather skills. Yeah. So like my intros and outros on the audio podcast is often me kind of giving some insight behind the curtain of what's going on. And obviously with the flotation and the cryo and stuff, that theme is in place for the podcast. And then when we started doing the videos on a Friday night, I realised that like it's 2 completely different audiences. Like the YouTube audience is really, really quite different to the audio kind of iTunes, Spotify and all that. But the expectation that I get when we put the videos out, is I don't know, it's really strong, and premiering them was like, it seemed like the right thing to do because it's week to week to week.
It makes perfect sense.
And then slowly but surely it does seem to be, like I say, those familiar faces drop in. Oh, I can't wait for this one. And, you know, people, I was like, wow, this is mad.
It's insane, isn't it?
Yeah.
I still get like overwhelmed when I put a video on. People actually start watching it.
Yeah, and people taking away, like people will listen to your story. People might think, fucking, yeah, I'm going to take my little girl camping, or I'm going to...
I've had a guy actually sent me a message on Instagram saying he wanted to take his girlfriend wild camping and she wasn't too sure. And then he showed him some of my videos and they'd gone and he sent me all the pictures from the trip. Oh, it made my day.
That's the most powerful thing ever,
I love that. They had a beautiful time. They've made those memories and they're going to have that journey together now, do more trips. And I think I played a part in that. It overwhelmed me so much.
Well, you did with my wife. I mean, I was off and away with Dave, my mate, a few times over the early part of lockdown. And I know you're not supposed to, but I'm a rebel and that's that.
Yeah, well.
You know, so there you go. So me and him went out, but then when I came across your videos, I showed them to my wife and I was like, wow, this girl, she's doing this on her own.
Because it's a lot of guys. It's a guy heavy thing, I think, on YouTube. There is girls doing it. Men
making fires.
Yeah, we make fire and eat meat.
Yes, absolutely. No, that gave her a push as well. And like I say, I'm so lucky that she's fallen in love with it.
And that is why I like to do it. I say to Ben all the time, because you can track your audience, how many percentage is guys and how many is girls. And as it creeps up more girls, it is more guys that watch. I think it's 95% last time I
think
checked.
YouTube generally is as well, isn't it?
But to see the more girls joining my channel and in the comments every time there is more women, I love that because I like to influence them to go out and do the same thing. Because, you know, I think there is a bit of a stigma around it. Yeah. Oh, you're a girl. I mean, I've had people put, you're a girl in the woods, like you're not safe out there on your own. I was like, if a mad person's going to come, they're going to come regardless of like what sex you are. They're not bothered. So, you know, but I do get that quite a lot. Yeah. And I think you're just as a risk on a night out on a Friday, like stumbling around town, which is not something I do.
You're at more risk, being pissed up and vulnerable and, you know.
Whereas I'm in the woods, no one knows I'm there. I'm like, just being at one with my mind, doing my thing, my incense going like.
And the confidence that you build in the inner strength, you know, the personality type strength that you get from knowing that you can look after yourself. Yeah. Shit goes tits, you know what to do. You know, that's really, really useful and empowering.
And I can pass that confidence on to my little girl. Yeah. She sees it. She loves my videos. Like I saw her on YouTube the other day and she was like, UK Carrie Outdoors. And it's like, I love that she enjoys watching them as well because it gives her the confidence to do when she's older.
And lovely memories as well. You know, I'm aware of that. I've taken my two boys out camping. I did a video with Jessie, my middle one. We went out back in the summer and I find with us having a few kids, that one-on-one time
important
in that environment. You know, again, like I say, making a fire, collecting the right wood. We made a little rope swing in this little clearing that we've got, and chatting to him and just seeing how, like, being in the woods and skipping through the woods, and there's something about the power of the trees and the oxygen from the plantation, and just me and him connecting and having a little fire, having some food.
Seeing how much fun they can have with no plastic around. There's no plastic shit anywhere. There's just the woods. Yeah. And they seem to have a better time. Yeah. And I just think, especially with everything that's going on this year, kids are confused enough as it is. So to take them back to do something that's so like natural to be somewhere in the woods. Yeah,
it's in their DNA, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
they
you
need
see
that
it
at the moment. Yeah. Because it's such a crazy time for them. It's confusing, it's scary, so yeah, it's important.
My friend Dave, he's got three daughters, about the same age as my two boys and my daughter. So we've been to this specific spot close by as a family. It's like a double family couple of times. And honestly, it's felt, I've had moments, and I've said this to Aidan when we've been kind of talking about what is the future of this world at the moment, which is not a conversation we're going to now, but when we've talked about it, kind of, I've had moments when we've been in those woods, we've got a fire in the middle, there's like 4 or 5 tents pitched up, there's 6 kids, there's 2 of them running that way, 2 of them climbing a tree, they're all doing those just earthy, real play. Yeah. And I've been looking around, and my wife and Dave's wife are sort of sat at the tree cooking, and Dave's collecting wood, and I'm like playing wood. And I've had this real strong epiphany of like, I feel like this is what we're supposed to be doing. Yeah. And also, as I project into the future, I think more and more people will find themselves being drawn to just unplugging all the USBs and all the crap and putting the gloves and the masks down and just going in the woods or going somewhere away
I
and
hope
just
so.
breathing. Yeah.
I really hope so.
Although not on the pitch right next.
Not close to me, but yeah.
Yeah.
No, I really do hope people do that. It's so important. And I think at the moment, like, the world is so full of like technology and it's all go. It's too much for me. I need to step back and do my thing, because it's just so chaotic. Like, life can be so busy. Everyone suffers from it, and a lot of people then end up suffering from like depression and burnout and exhaustion. So I think it's really important to have that time away from it.
Yeah, when all you're thinking about is, have we got enough food? Have we got enough water? Is the tent, solid? Is we going to withstand any, like, it's so simple.
Waking up to the birds and like, yeah, you can't beat that.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
And have you noticed as well, I don't know about you, but for me it's kind of the circadian rhythm of your body, like when you're out in the summer, say you've been hiking and you get set up for the evening and you get a little fire going, you have your food. By the time the sun's, but as the sun goes down, you kind of feel like, well, yeah, that's it. That's really it. Like and then when it comes up, it's like you want to see it come up. So you end up, your natural rhythm, your circadian rhythm starts to
sync.
Yeah. How it should be.
Yeah. Because if you're at home, you don't get up and watch the sunrise.
No.
It'd be nice to say that every morning you go up and watch the sunrise, but you don't.
And when it gets dark, you just start flicking on all the artificial everything,
lights, and you're scrolling through your phone, and the telly's on, and there's a lot of noise going on. And sometimes it's nice just to be listening to the owls in the woods at night time, lying in your tent. Honestly, it's my favourite place.
I know, and listen, that's why I'm so pleased that you made the time to come and speak to us, because you like I say, you've inspired me, my wife.
Oh, thank you.
And I wanted to pick your brains. So let's get to, if you're willing to talk about it, your camping trip that you abandoned. Because I'm kind of, I just did one in the woods this weekend, and there was a couple of moments of like, ooh, what was that? What was that
noise? Yeah, well, we've been to this woods quite a lot, and it is in the middle of nowhere. Unless you knew where this woods was, you wouldn't know it was there. And then we walked quite far into the woods. We've had the same spot that we set up, and we were off filming, doing our thing. And Ben had said, unbeknown to me in his video, I feel a bit on edge. I keep hearing people chatting, but there's no one around. Like, he just felt on edge. And then I said to him later on, I don't feel comfortable for some reason. I feel really like there's something not right. But we got into the tent at night time, we lied there, and I was just drifting off to sleep. And usually when you're at home, you can hear the neighbours chatting or the telly downstairs. So at first, I didn't pick up on it. And then I realised there was a conversation going on outside the tent.
Oh.
So I said to Ben, and he said, well, that's funny because I keep hearing it. It's like two guys talking. And we were thinking, what if it's illegal poachers? Because Ben's seen a video before of a guy who was in a hammock and illegal poachers came into the woods, and he said, just lie there really still. It was a scary experience. So we thought, well, what if it's that? There's a really heavy deer population in that woods. But it just felt freaky. We felt really spooked out to the point where we just decided to abandon.
Right.
We got out of the tent and there was no one around. There was still no one. We have no explanation to where the voices were coming from, who it was. We kept hearing people walking around and chatting. Like, sound travels quite far, but this sounded like a conversation that was quite close, bouncing back, just as us two talking now, bouncing back and forth. We don't know who it was. We don't know what they were chatting about. Ben's digging further into this because his 401 Files channel is conspiracy, and he talks about like Bigfoot and aliens and stuff. He's actually found some history in that woods of a Roman road that led through the woods. So we don't know. But
that feeling that you get when you trust your instincts.
I trust my gut all the time. I need to get out of that woods. And you'll see in the video when I put it out there, it was torrential rain. And I was literally soaked as if I'd been in the shower. It sounds
a bit like a movie, Carrie.
It was awful. I just wanted to get home. Like, we were soaking, freezing. By the time we got to the car, it was pitch black. We're trudging through all this, like, boggy ground. It was really not pleasant. If I could have stayed in the tent, I'd have stayed. But something in my gut said, you need to leave. So
when you decide to get out of the tent, right, you're at the point where you've triggered anxiety, probably pretty full on. So you've got to stay calm, and it's dark. You've got head torches on, like, fucking hell, where's the tent bag? Where's the fucking, oh, fuck's sake, put that there. All right, calm down. It's all right, I'm having a quick look around. Don't look around, just fucking put everything away.
Yeah.
How long is it a trek back to the car? How time-wise?
3 or 4 miles.
Ooh.
in the dark. The fog was so dense I could barely see through it. And the trip out there, I know my way. Going back, I kept saying, is it this way? Is it this way?
And you're going to put this video out now?
Yeah.
This is going to be a fucking video.
A lot of it, it's very dark, and I've only got my trusty little low light torch, and it's raining all on my face, and I'm like, look, I wouldn't be trudging back to the car in the dark if I didn't feel like I
So when you actually start the trudging, so the anxiety, you're packing down, you get everything packed down, right, okay, let's go. How are you feeling at that point when you like, do you get the feeling, you know, when you go up the stairs after you watched a scary film and you're a kid and you...
I just wanted to get home. As soon as I saw the car, I was like, the car, get me in the car, get me home.
Wow. So have you been out since?
No. Ben's been back to that same woods, was it yesterday? Yesterday to do a bit of filming, and we're going there tomorrow to camp.
Ah, so you're going to face the proverbial fear.
Well,
how do you feel? Do you feel all right with that?
No.
But you're going to go and see how I feel and do it.
Because I love that woods. It's a beautiful woods, and I want to go back, and we're going to try a different spot. And, you know, this time we'll all be ready to leave just in case it's not a good experience.
What do you think the likelihood was then? It might have just been another camper and, you know, the sound sort of bouncing through the trees.
It wasn't another camper. I mean, I'd walked the length and breadth of that woods all day filming. I've been around the whole perimeter of where we were.
Right.
There wasn't another camper in there. There was no cars, and the only tiny bit of space there is to park car in there. There was no other cars. Yeah, I don't know.
Creepy.
It was quite creepy.
Had you had a fire going that night?
Did we have a fire going that night? We'd had a fire going that night, hadn't we? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so someone would have known where you were.
Oh, yeah, we'd done some cooking. Yeah, we had the bags out and, hung up outside the tent and stuff. So, yeah, people, if they were there, knew we were there.
Yeah.
It wasn't pleasant.
Oh, it's just giving me a little bit of a shudder.
I blame Ben, because I always say to him, when I go on my own, I don't have these feelings. You do all this conspiracy, spooky, alien, Bigfooty stuff, like... You brought it along.
What's that Ben's conspiracy channel?
It's 401 Files.
Go drag it up, Aidan. Because what I did notice on your channel, Ben, when I watched your Bushcraft Basics with Ben, you had a little Alan Watts insert, didn't you? Yeah. And Alan Watts is on the back of that.
Yeah, Alan Watts,
yeah, the philosopher. Because you had a lovely little sort of montage bit where where you had like Alan Watts sort of talking over it. So you're covering like conspiracy stuff.
Yeah, he goes out wild camps and talks about Bigfoot.
So the 401 Files, the home of thought-provoking.
This is the woods that we camp. This is the night.
Is this the wood?
Yeah.
Oh wow! Look at this.
Yeah.
There because I work in a photo lab, and you can make so many tricks with the cameras and everything.
Well, there's no question that all photographic stuff has to be investigated. And many of the pictures that I have and use in my lectures have been thoroughly investigated by experts. But it's not the pictures that make the difference. We're talking worldwide about tens of thousands of sightings. We're talking about over 2,200 physical trace cases from 65 countries. Cases where not only is a UFO seen sitting near the ground, but after it leaves, you have the equivalent of a burn circle, a burn ring, a landing gear mark. And after your first several hundred of these, and about 25% involve reports of little creatures associated with the craft, when you can look at the dirt and see how it's changed, when you can look at the vegetation, that's another story. When you get into the abduction cases, we have 5 different abductees, for example, who each described writing, actually drew their best recollection of the writing they saw, not knowing what anybody else had drawn.
God,
and we find that in that case,
that's big and thick, isn't it?
A committee of 6 experts.
Is that where you are in there somewhere?
The same thing, even though they'd never seen what the other people.
Yeah.
It's a huge wood. We didn't realise how huge it was until we got the drone up.
Hi guys, welcome back to the 401 Files. It's an absolute pleasure as I always.
It's Ben. Welcome Ben to the chat.
I'm back out again today, however I am on my own.
Don't be on your own out there, Ben. Are you on your own?
The hell was that? I'm back out again today, however I am on my own. Anyway, I'm back in an area, guys, like I said, that you should all be very familiar with by now. This is the location that me and Carrie
there's a bit of footage, look. Oh, is this from the night?
Camp here, we thought we heard something that sounded strange, something that sounded like voices, so we dropped the tents and we got the hell out. But I'm back here again. I am on my own. It's daytime, and we're gonna chat. I brought my chair and some coffee, And I just want to basically share a few of my thoughts with you guys. That's really what attracted me to the area in the first place. Can't stop thinking about what that noise was now.
His video of the versions of the night is already up.
Oh, right. So we can check. Oh, we'll link that in then.
Yeah, which is what that guy who started going to ring the police.
Yeah.
He's the one who piped up on that video and then came over to my channel and said, if you release that
Oh,
footage,
okay. So he's there, is he?
Yeah.
All right.
somewhere
That's
lingering.
cool. So we've got that to look forward to. Right. Okay.
So a lot of people said they want to hear my side of it. So
Yeah.
the bit of footage I got of it, the filming I've done, I'm
Yeah.
editing at the moment.
Oh, man. So that'll be a different kind of edit for you then, because I imagine you're kind of reliving
Yeah.
a little bit of the spooky
Yeah.
trauma and all that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
So
mean,
back there tomorrow then
Yeah.
for an actual camp. Are you going to do a video tomorrow or are you just
Yeah.
camping?
No, I always make a video when I'm out.
Yeah.
So we're going to make another video.
Yeah. We went to the Lake District. We went up. Where did we go in the lakes, Aidan? Can you remember? Not far from Keswick, was it? I forget the hill, but we went with Dave, who I keep mentioning, my camping lord,
Yeah.
Messiah, one of my best friends, Michael, another previous guest I used to be in bands with, and Aidan, and we had an idea to do quite a studio-based podcast. I've done a couple up there where I've just recorded on the phone, just audio, and clipped them together, which has been fun. But we thought, no, we're going to go and do one. Not too much of a crazy hike, but get up somewhere lovely and actually take lights, took like big old industrious battery power rigs and stuff.
That's so cool.
Took the mics and everything, but we had these little lapel mics and it was a little bit windy, although not that windy considering we were high up.
Yeah.
And we've got the footage, but the audio's just not quite good enough, and that's heartbreaking.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people do put footage out there when you can't really hear them because of the wind, but
Yeah.
I'm, again, my own worst critic. So
Oh yeah, there's a shot from the night. Yeah, so
that looks ace. That's great.
yeah, so we had these little sort of, I guess what a lot of YouTubers or bloggers use, them little ring lights because they're quite light. We took the tripods. We had the iMac. We had some battery packs, and then we all had lapel mics. But I think there was like 3 or 4 lapel mics. It was kind of loading the Mac up a bit, I think, and they were just all. There's a bit of feedback and a bit of crunch that. I think we could do something with it. I mean, it actually looks quite nice.
It looks ace. That looks like a great place to sit in.
I had I took a load of little fairy candles, you know, these little tea lights.
Yeah, I love that.
And that's how lucky we were. We were up a mountain in the lakes and they didn't blow out, which was mad. But we drank quite a lot of strong Northern Monk ale and we got onto some quite controversial topics, which I had a giggling fit. That I can't remember having one like that since I was a kid. There's Aidan.
Wow, that's beautiful.
That's producing Aidan there.
That's a stunning photo.
Yeah, it was gorgeous. Yeah.
What a beautiful place to camp.
Oh, it's so powerful there, isn't
the Lake
it?
District, honestly.
That's my first trip there. We actually drove
Really?
round the other side there where you can see. There's Mr. Michael McKeon, and that's one of my best friends. That, and he's new to it. I mean, I've dragged him along, so Dave's dragged me along. Well, I sort of tagged along. And then I've dragged Michael along, and I've watched him really, really take a lot of mental repair from it.
Yeah, you should definitely get back to Lake District and explore. It's such a beautiful part of the country.
Yeah, I want to take my wife. I mean, we drove around the other side. And next morning, we always like to do a bit of the cold dip. That was the day when we left here, actually. Yeah. So that's Dave in the white and blue shirt, Michael, and there's Aidan.
I love that.
That was the morning we went. Yeah, but loved it. But I must try and do something with that footage. I think I could probably save some of the audio and we'll try and do something.
Yeah,
but
you definitely should. That'd be so cool.
what a fun day that was.
You need to go back. You need to take your wife there. She'll
Yes.
absolutely love it.
Do you know, when I go with the lads, that's always the first thing I think is like, oh, I want to bring Alex here. I want to bring Alex here.
You should, honestly. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it was really cool. And like you say, when you see something like that, you know, you're aware, you know that all this exists in your land.
But seeing it with your own eyes and not just on a screen.
Yeah, or not even behind a farmer's picket or whatever, you know, just like literally it is happening.
It does make you feel really alive. It
totally.
really does. It's a beautiful feeling.
I told a story recently on the podcast about this night when Aidan and Dave both pitched their tents kind of, we had like a setup, which was the bit where you saw where the lights were. That was kind of like our kitchen, if you like. And Michael and I both pitched our little tents kind of in this vicinity, and we all sort of based ourselves there for drinks and food. But these two Dave and Aidan pitched their tents like probably 200 or 300 yards off in different directions. And it occurred to me when it was pitch black and we were pretty cooking on the old ale, we had some strong ale. I was like, how are you going to find your tent, Dave? I just look, it's just black. And he just trundles off, and we all followed him, and we found his tent. And then same thing for Aidan. You had to go and find yours, didn't you? And that was you on that high peak there, wasn't it, Aidan? But yeah, absolutely love it. It's so powerful. Yeah, that one there.
That's a stunning.
Yeah, there he is. Look.
What a place to wake up.
Yeah, that's so cool, isn't it? So have you been caught in like terrible weather? Like, have you had a tent fail on you? Have you had any like, disasters?
No, we've not had any disasters such. We've been caught in some bad weather. The Lake District, we had some pretty. I mean, it's the Lake District, so you experience all weathers in one day. So you can wake up and it can be bright sunshine, and then you're in a downpour. Yeah. And then it's freezing, then it's sunny again. So yeah, we had some bad weather in the Lake District, but nothing like, it was really windy. Yeah. So your first night you sat around the fire from the last video I saw. Yeah, and then we were planning to have, we'd found a really nice view. We were going to have a fire in front of it and look out, and yeah, no, it rained, it was foggy, the view went, and we ended up bunkering up in the tent. But we always take a pack of cards and we make the most of it. It doesn't matter to us, we're just there. Yeah. So the weather, I don't mind. That comes across, I love that. If you go on, you could just go on UK Carrie Outdoors, Aidan. And the last, I think it's the second to last video is these two guys when they do the lakes for a couple of nights. Yeah, and the second night, that's when Tallulah goes missing, yeah? Yeah. 2-day camp, the second video along, Aidan. Yeah, that's the one.
Hi, I'm Dr. Amy Killen. I have my own medical practice, and I've been using...
So you would have got monetized pretty soon.
Yeah, quite quick, yeah.
So when you put your first video out, just to sidetrack quickly, what did it go straight into kind of thousands of views?
No, my first video now I think is about 10,000 views, but at first it did well, but only like, you know, I got like maybe 100 subscribers from it, and I was like, oh my god, I've got 100 subscribers. Wow, like, this is so exciting. Like, you know, yeah. But it just snowballed after my solo wild camp. Yeah. I didn't expect that to blow up, and then it did, and then that's when people started flooding over to my channel.
That was the one that I came across. That was like, oh wow, this is really interesting.
Landed in YouTube recommended, which was a blessing, and I got a shout out at the same time, and it kind of just went from there. That video blew up, and then that's when.
Awesome. So this, I've noticed as well. I've
never been here before, so what I'm going to do now is I've left my.
You've got a really. You can see as the more videos you do, and obviously with Ben's tuition, you're getting more. You know, there's some lovely, nice shots. I imagine you're picking up. Oh, this would be nice. Get the camera low. Get the camera high.
Oh, I didn't have a clue. He'd be like, just film everything that you're doing. I was like, how? But now I'm getting it.
Yeah, like this. So you get some really nice shots. Is this on the G7X then?
This is on my phone.
It's on your phone? Is it on iPhone?
This whole video was filmed on my iPhone 11, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Although you rave about the camera on that, don't you, Aidan?
What we did is we got in the car and we drove about a mile away from Annandale Water, and we found this beautiful woodland here. This is looking like a really promising place to spend tonight.
Oh, is this where you got set up and then some people turned up?
Yeah, some guys turned up.
Really overgrown. So hopefully if we push in, we're going to be able to find the perfect spot for tonight. As we were leaving where we were previously, a lot of people turned up with a lot of camping stuff, and we're heading down towards the water.
I haven't watched this for such a long time.
It's going to be quite a popular place for people to.
It's mad watching yourself.
I don't watch back.
So when you talking about editing earlier? So you've took all the footage, you've enjoyed the trip. Then have you got like a process for your footage? Do you say, okay, well, in that file I've got, or is it just like you've got 35 clips of footage and then you just start?
It kind of comes together. Once I start putting a few bits together, I kind of know how I want it to flow. Yeah. And what I try and do is I try and have some talking and then some really nice like B-roll footage to break up a bit, because I want to show people what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and give it context.
It's all right me standing there saying, oh, I'm seeing this beautiful view, but people want to see what you're seeing. I take them along with me so they can see where I am. So I like to break up a little bit. But yeah, then we went for breakfast here and...
Yeah, it's lovely. You didn't want to get filmed in this bit, did you?
No.
No paps. No paps. Enjoying your grub.
Yeah, I like my food.
But that's again what you were saying earlier about YouTube. That's what I love about it. I mean, you know, I think there's a bit in this video where you're turning around and you're getting lost and you're like, shit, there's no signal. There's something about the fallibility and the reality of like, just not everything's manicured and perfect and brilliant.
You're honest and raw. I like that. I like the fact that people go out and document what they're doing. You go on Instagram, it's all filtered and like it's all a bit like
manicured, yeah.
Whereas this, I mean, that where I'm going for breakfast there, I just got up and put my hoodie on and got in the car. There's no like makeup and hair and all those things.
Oh God,
that,
you know, hang on, No,
let's just go for breakfast.
That's what comes through. And even though there'll be moments when you look at yourself and think, fucking hell, I look like I just got up.
I've said that.
But that's just on the surface.
But that's part of going out and
that's
being
what's
out.
endearing for people watching.
And that's what I love about YouTube. I watch people's videos, and when they're out doing these things, you see them at a really special moment in their life where they're out. They've probably fallen into wild camping for a reason. They've been through something, or they've needed that escape, and then fallen in love with this other world that not a lot of people do venture into. And you're watching them out there doing that. I love that. I love sharing their videos with them. It is my YouTube, my favourite platform.
That's why I loved Hayes' videos when I came across him, because he's got a similar kind of daft, silly, maniacal attitude that I have. And I love when he does his little walk-ins and he's like, don't look at the camera, don't look at the camera, you know, and he just plays with it a bit. I love that.
It's natural. I think you want people, I want to relate to people when I'm watching their videos. I want to think, you know, I could have a chat with you and we could be friends.
Yeah.
You know, I have come across people who you know, have shunned me once I got past so many subscribers, and then
really?
don't talk to me anymore. You do get that. You do hear about it. But
what, people within the YouTube community or people in your life?
No, in the YouTube community, you do get people who maybe think, you know, I like the channels where people are their self and they document what they do because I love doing it, and not because maybe, you know, I just like people who are naturally themselves. Yeah. No matter what, not trying to tick boxes and please the people. Please everyone. Yeah, like I know that fires are controversial, but I enjoy a fire as long as I make it safe. I know I'm doing it safe and I'm doing it in the most respectful way possible. I like going out and having a fire. And it was one of the keys to us arriving where we are today, you know. Which is what I say to people. It's been really useful. Yeah. So, you know, like, you can't please everyone. I don't go out there to please everyone. I think I'm just going to experience what I'm experiencing, and hopefully people enjoy watching them. Oh, totally. And that's why I think you got a strong following, because what works, and that authenticity is what will always shine through no matter what, you know. I think it's important. I watch a lot of people on YouTube, and they're the people I gravitate towards. Not maybe so much the ones that, you know, are as relatable. Yeah, of course. Yeah, because it's that relatability that makes us feel, I don't know, I think we're all suffering some kind of mad... It's difficult being a human, full stop. So difficult. We're saying that as white people living in Great Britain, right? It's not a privileged thing. It's not, you know, don't care who you are, where you are. There's a fucking lot to consider. How lucky you are. Like, if you really stop and think about how lucky you are that your hands and your feet and your ears and your eyes all work. 100%. If you were to think about that long enough, you could feel guilty about that, because someone up the road is in a wheelchair. My dad's in a wheelchair. My brother got testicular cancer at 15 years old. You know, there's people who are, you know, if you think about these things long enough, it's miraculous to just... And I always think, like, one of my best friends at the moment is battling cancer. And I spoke to the other day on the phone and we were chatting, and I said, what do you want to do when you're through your chemo? We'll do whatever you want to do. She's never been camping before. I want to come camping with you. I want to experience that. I watch your videos and I think you are living your life. You know, I have my own shit, and that's what I do to get through it. And she's looked at that and thought, and I've just realised how short life is. So when I'm feeling better and I'm stronger, please take me camping. And that, I thought that's amazing that you've looked and thought, you know, that's an experience that I want. So everything else that she maybe thought mattered before, it feels insignificant. It doesn't matter anymore. She now thinks it's a simple things like camping and enjoying a campfire that she wants to do. So I'm so excited about that trip. Like, I'm really looking forward to that, because I think that's something that she really has taken away from her illness. Is I want to do something. And it's and the simple stuff seems to be where it's at. The simple stuff is the stuff that makes you happiest. So obviously it feels like humans, sometimes everything's hidden in plain sight, you know, in keeping with this kind of theme of the conversation. That gratitude that we sometimes goes missing on us, because we do live so comfortably, because we are in a privileged position in a country with infrastructure and all of the great history that we've got. But you mentioned it there, like sometimes we experience things, difficult things, you know, and it's only if we choose to face them sometimes and actually address them and let them, almost in a way, let pain come in, appreciate it, and then it can trigger or
act as a platform to then do something.
You can only run away from your mind for so long. And I don't care if you're a millionaire in a mansion or whatever, all the way down. Everyone has problems. And the only way to face them, I find that going out and being by myself or being in the woods and stuff, I can then deal with my whatever issue I've got at the time or whatever's going on. Life is busy. Life is hard for everyone. Everyone has their own issues. And to them, they're big. To someone else, they might be minuscule. But to you, if you're going through something, to you, it's a big thing.
Of course.
And you have to find a way to help yourself deal with it. For me, it's getting out and camping and living a bit more of a natural lifestyle and doing those things, because for me it really helps. I think you can mask it by buying more things, buying the latest things, but at the end of the day, they're just things and not gonna make you truly happy. I think if you can be happy, like I said before, I try and teach my daughter, she can be truly happy just out in the woods, she's winning, because that's free. She can always do that. So that's really important to me.
What a lovely positive mindset to behold, and to pass that on to children. Again, I allude to this podcast being built from that. Like, I've come to think that whatever the struggle, whatever the euphoria we feel, the whole circuit of emotion, if you can keep coming back to that gratitude, and if you can apply that to young people and try and teach that, like, be grateful. And in this modern day, like, getting out in the woods, camping, cooking, baking a cake at home, like, getting amongst it, nitty gritty, simple. That is such an important part of bringing up.
Because kids are really struggling at the moment. My daughter was really struggling to settle back into school after having such a long time off. So the other day I said, "You're not going. You've been crying all night. You're not going. I'm going to keep you home." And we baked a cake together. We baked cakes. And I thought, she needs a mental health day, a day where she just concentrates on herself and make herself feel better. Next day she trotted off back to school. She was happy. To me, like, sometimes you just have to take away everything else and just do simple things. Even if it's just walking the dog and enjoying the view that you're looking at, taking a moment to stand and actually, instead of like looking at your phone, look up and look around and think, we're so lucky. That's really important to me. That's something even now I have to do myself.
Of course. You
get lost in the moment. You think, I need to step away and look around and think, I'm so lucky for what I've got and for where I am, and these experiences that we have and make on these videos. They look like simple trips out, but to me, they really do help me keep a level head. And
that's a lovely positive attitude, and again, really grateful you've came and shared it on this podcast, because that's what we're all about. And the more we can connect to people like you and build this, hopefully, a little YouTube community, you know, like I say, we're reaching out to people that inspire us based on these principles, and when we can get them in the chair like you've given us this grace today, it means the world. And my little family is growing here on the podcast, and yours is flying through the roof.
So good.
We've met Ben today as well, so it sounds like we're going to get the conspiracy chair moving, because there's lots of questions I want to ask there. But listen, thank you for this. I really appreciate it, Carrie. Where do I send everybody? I mean, it's pretty obvious. UK Carrie Outdoors on YouTube.
Yeah.
You said you use Instagram.
Yeah, UK Carrie Outdoors.
Do you use any of the others?
Facebook. I'm on Facebook.
Yeah.
UK Carrie Outdoors. That's it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll send everybody there.
Thank
you for your time, Carrie.
Thank you so much for having me.
And I wish you all the best in the future. You're making a video tomorrow. I'm out camping tomorrow.
Have a great trip.
Camping spirit will be out in the Yorkshire.
Set us up for the weekend. Get out.
Yeah.
Camp. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Peace.
Thanks.